In this video, we're going to review order of operations. Most likely from previous math classes, you've seen the acronym Pemdas, where P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. Before we dive into some examples, I wanted to note a couple things. First, multiplication and division can be grouped together. One way of looking at this is we could rephrase what division is. So division is actually just a multiplication using fractions. So for example, say we just had 6 divided by 2. Well, first off, I could rewrite this so that it looks like a fraction. 6 divided by 2 is the same thing as 6 over 2, or 6 halves. And we could actually expand this out. So this could become 6 over 1 times 1 over 2. So what I want you to be aware of is these three statements, they're all equivalent to each other. Hence the reason why I have equal signs in between each of those statements. But because division is really just a multiplication with fractions, this is why we're able to kind of lump it in the same grouping as multiplication. Likewise, we can also group together addition and subtraction. So again, if we kind of take a step back and think about it, subtraction is really just an addition problem that uses negative numbers. So for instance, say we just had something like 9 minus 7. We could rewrite the subtraction to become 9 plus a negative 7. Again, if you kind of were to do the work or quickly enter each of these versions in your calculator, you would see that we would still get a result of positive 2 each time. So for our first example, we have 7 times the quantity of 4 squared plus 2 minus 40 divided by 8. What I would suggest doing, if you need to, would be to write Pemdas down in the margin of your paper so that you can kind of use it as a checklist. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is take care of what's inside the parentheses. So I have a couple of operations that are happening within those parentheses. So again, I want to return to my checklist. So I see that I have exponent work and I have addition work. So the first thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to address this exponent work. So now I'm going to have 7 times the quantity 16 plus 2, then minus 40 divided by 8. So again, I still have parenthesis work. And within that parenthesis work, I just have addition. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify that down. So this is going to give me 7 times 18 minus 40 divided by 8. So next, remember that multiplication and division can be grouped together. So I'm going to simultaneously look at 7 times 18. Can do a better highlight than that. There we go. And then I'm going to take care of this 40 divided by 8. So looking at this, 7 times 18 is going to give us 126. And then 40 divided by 8 will give us 5. So the only thing left for us to do is a subtraction. And this will give us 121. Our second example, we have 13 minus the quantity of 1 plus the quantity of 21 minus 5 plus 6 times 3 to the third power divided by 12. So this problem, we have a couple of parentheses, actually one being nested inside the other. And we always want to work from the inside out in those situations. So the first thing that we're going to target is going to be this subtraction within our rounded parentheses, essentially. We have square bracket parentheses in here just so we can kind of differentiate. You could imagine that if you had a bunch of parentheses kind of running around and they all look the same, that can be overwhelming to the eye. So we sometimes use different versions of parentheses so that we can kind of see things a little bit clearer. So for our next line, we'll have 13 minus the quantity of 1 plus 16 plus 6 times 3 cubed divided by 12. So again, we still want to refer to our checklist, and we still have parentheses that are happening here. So my focus and my attention is going to be on the next set of parentheses. And this will give us 13 minus 17 plus 6 times 3 cubed divided by 12. Returning to our checklist, we can now see that we have to target our exponents, so our 3 cubed. This is going to give us 13 minus 17 plus 6 times 3 cubed will give us 27 divided by 12. Now we can go ahead and look at multiplication and division. So we have 6 times 27 divided by 12. Because multiplication and division are grouped together, you can either take care of the multiplication first or the division first. A rule that teachers maybe have taught you is to go from left to right. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So what I'm referring to here is I'm going to take care of the 6 times 27 first. This will give me 13 minus 17 plus 162 divided by 12. And now we can go ahead and take care of that division. And this will give me 13 minus 17 plus 13.5. So the only thing left is subtraction and addition. And remember, I did say that those are also grouped together. So we can do this all in one step if we wanted to, or you can always feel free to take care of the subtraction first and then the addition, or you could do the addition piece first and then subtraction. It's ultimately up to you. But if we were to break this in steps, I might do 13 minus 17 first, and this will leave me with negative 4 plus 13.5. And then when I do negative 4 plus 13.5, this will leave me with a positive 9.5. One quick note that I'd like to make everyone is that I did include a lot of steps. As you get more comfortable working with your order of operations, you might find that you'll be able to combine multiple steps within one line of work. You can feel free to do that. Again, since I'm going through and teaching these examples, I wanted to provide you as much detail as possible. Let's go ahead and have you try some. So what I would like you to go ahead and do is take a moment to pause the video, work through these problems, and then when you're ready, press play and we'll review the solutions. Here are the solutions to those two problems. Feel free to pause the video to review the work, taking care to note how the order of operations was applied to simplifying each of these expressions. Let's take a look at a couple other examples, this time dealing with rational expressions and square roots. So rational expressions will be any kind of expression that kind of looks like a fraction. In other words, we clearly see that there is a numerator and a denominator. So for the first problem, we have 37 minus 12, all divided by 5. Notice that the division bar goes all the way underneath that subtraction. So taking care of our numerator first, we can kind of imagine that there is a set of parentheses that's holding that subtraction together. So we can kind of go ahead and take care of that numerator first. So 37 minus 12 will give us 25. And then from there, we have a simple division problem. So we have 25 divided by 5. So we'll go ahead and we'll take care of the division between these two values, which then will give us a final solution of 5. For our second problem, we have the square root of 3/10 times the quantity of 1 minus 3/10, all divided by 12. We can treat the square root like a grouping symbol, or almost like a set of parentheses. In other words, our goal would be to clean up as much of the rational expression as we can before taking the square root. Our first step is to simplify the numerator, or the top part of the fraction. So using order of operations, let's go ahead and address the parentheses first. So this is going to leave us with 3/10 times 1 minus 3/10 would give us 7/10, all being divided by 12. From here, I'm going to go ahead and take care of multiplication next, just because it seems like it'll be a little bit easier as opposed to doing division first. So this will give me the square root of 21/100, all divided by 12. Now that I've simplified the numerator, I can go ahead and divide that with the denominator. And this is going to give me the square root of 175/10,000. And now that I've simplified the expression as much as I can, now it looks like I'm able to take care of the square root of this value. This will give me 0.1322875656. I'm going to go ahead and round that to the second decimal place, or the hundredths place. So this is going to come out to about 13/100. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and pause the video and practice these two problems. When you're ready, press play and we'll review the solutions. So for our first solution, we're going to first take care of that subtraction in the numerator to get -4, and then we'll take care of that division of 2, so our final result should give us -2. For our second problem, we'll go ahead and we'll take care of the subtraction of 1 minus 46/100 first, and that's going to give us 54/100. Then we'll go ahead and multiply that with our 46/100 in our numerator to get 2,484/10,000. We'll divide that by 4 to get 621/10,000. And then taking that square root and rounding to the hundredths place, we're going to go ahead and get 25/100.